Hey everybody, it's Jeff with Start Racing D17, and today I was going to go over what I do on my wheel bearings at the end of each season to prolong these and keep them running good. This is a 2012. I got over 200 some hours on this bike, and these are still the factory front wheel bearings. So what I do every year is I pretty much re-grease these bearings, and the way I do that, it's not too difficult at all, and you only need a couple of tools. First thing you do is you need some type of seal puller. I just use this. A nice flathead screwdriver, some anti-seize, and some wheel bearing grease. And I've gone ahead and already done this just so I can show you here quickly to make the video quick. But what you need to do is you need to get a seal puller, and you need to get inside there, and you need to pop that seal out. You need to just take your time with pulling them out, but they should all come out and completely reusable. I mean, they're just a push-in type seal. Once you get the seal out, I usually take it and clean it out, clean all the dirt off of it, clean the back side out, and that's it. And then for the next part, you need a little flathead screwdriver. And this part, you do have to be careful. On these sealed bearings, this little rubber piece right here, it's like a rubber metal piece. This is what keeps the dirt and muck out and the grease in the bearing. The problem is that to grease them, you really have no way. But if you take a little flathead screwdriver and you take your time and very gently lift up on this, you can pull that seal cover off and you can pull it out and expose the bearings. And then what I'll do is I'll take this and wipe it down, clean it up very carefully, because this will bend. It's just really thin metal with like a rubber coating on it. And then I come back over here, grab my favorite wheel bearing grease, and I just start packing this in. I pack it in, I pack it in, I pack it in. Once I get it packed in, I take the bearing and I spin the bearing like so. And what that will do is that will cause all the grease inside of there, if I can get a good shot, all the grease inside of there to kind of settle. Because you want this flat, because there's too much, if you have this thing just full of freaking grease, that still will not sit on there properly. So you don't want too much, you don't want too little. And so that pretty much greases that whole thing up. So then what I'll do, and I'll just do it right now, is then I come back here with the seal. I will set the seal on there, like so. And then very gently, I go around and I push the seal back on. And then, voila, there you go. Everything's greased. Wipe off the excess grease, and there you go. Bearing's been repacked. It's got fresh grease in it. It's ready for water and mud and everything else. And then the last thing I do is I coat these suckers with anti-seize when I put them in. So this sucker right here, it's aluminum. It's not metal. It's not steel. It's aluminum. Your bearing, on the other hand, that is steel. And what I usually do is I coat this surface right here with just a touch of anti-seize. And what that'll do is that'll make it 1,000 times easier to pull this thing in and out if it's been a long time. Two discerning metals typically do not like to usually corrode together. And that's pretty much it. We'll just grab a little dabber-do of that. This is going to be fun to do with one hand. And that's it. Put a little anti-seize on there. I will take a light coating of grease, go around the outside of that, and grab my seal. And then I'll just push my seal in. I mean, it just pushes in by hand, nice and easy. Then I'll grab just another light little dab of grease. Grease the seal itself. And then I just leave that little dab of anti-seize on there like that. I will push that in and then just kind of turn it as I'm pushing it in. And voila, man. Nice and smooth. And that's it. Didn't take much, but a little bit of time. If you do it on all your wheels, these wheel bearings will last. Like I said, the biggest part you have to be careful is prying up that seal around the bearing. Because if you damage that, then you're buying a new bearing. But this is what I do. and it works. It's worked for me. I run this thing through rivers and creeks and mud and everything else, and hopefully this helps you out. And that's it. See you later. Bye.